Well, how you doing today? I'm going to talk about rules.
Good afternoon, you guys. This is the porch, 3, 2, 1.
Yep, and we're going to talk about the rules for saving for a home. Now, why do we have to follow the rules? Because we're dealing with money and big investments, and as much as a rule breaker as some of us like to be, there are some things you just can't bend or break the rules. There are certain things that have to be done. So we're going to open up that book and talk about what the rules are and how you can follow them and get what you want, because that's the ultimate thing that you want to do is get the house. All right. So this article says that they're new rules. Well, I disagree. I don't think these are new rules. I think with the internet and online, things have changed. But basically, saving money, making sure your history is decent and up to snuff, and having income, those are kind of things you can't change rules with. So, anyway, I am Sylvia Ford with Coldwell Banker Realty, and these are my friends.
I'm Linda Hollington.
And I'm Sherry Darmanine.
And we are colleagues, of course. So, if you're saving for a down payment on a house, and if it's your first purchase of a home, you understand that this is one really, really tricky real estate market right now. Right, Linda?
Right. Yeah, and with prices going up, I mean, quadrupled in a lot of cases, if you can even find the stuff. Mortgage rates are going up, and if you want to buy a house, you're one of 5 people bidding on the same house. It seems like almost an impossible task to think about trying to save any money for a house. So rules are really going to be important to follow as far as getting to that goal at the end to buy your house. So you're going to have to play your A game here.
Yeah.
To get there, and it's not going to be easy.
And that is a truth. You've got to bring your A game. Right. Remember what they say, bring it on? Well, bring your A game. Right, Sherry?
Yep. Yet, if you're amassing a down payment seems all but hopeless, here's how to turbocharge your house fund so it's ready when you're ready to go on the house hunt. Okay? Budgeting is easier when you know exactly what your goal is. Do you need 50,000, 60,000 more? Figure it out so you can get a real savings number. And that's very important. Jason Kruger, financial planner and advisor with Ameriprise Financial, suggests that prospective home buyers back into the math and start how much house you want to buy and what type of loan, for example.
Very important.
Very important, because if you want a conventional loan, there's different percentages of down payment versus FHA and, of course, VA, which dictates the requirement, okay? The next thing is to determine when you want to buy. That's very important. This then allows someone to aim for a specific target. Because remember, if you don't know the rules of the game, you can't play the game. So you have to put those numbers in order for you to be able to know where to start. Right, Linda?
Right, you have to have that target. Let's say you did what Sherry said. You went to talk to the bank. So you're eligible for a loan, but you're going to have 5% down.
Right.
Okay? Because it could be any percentage. It could be up to 20. So, but you're going to have 5%. And you're going to buy a house that's at $300,000, so that's $15,000. And you want to do it in a year, so you're going to divide it by 12, so that's $1,258 a month that you have to save. So now
That's a lot.
you know the goal, you know the rules, 5%, you know your price range, you know 12 months is a year, so this is what you have to save in a month. So you have your goals and your
let's
strategy.
be a little realistic about that number too, by the way. That does not include your taxes and insurance.
No.
And that's something often is forgotten, is the fact of taxes and insurance. So playing that insurance estimate game is important too.
Right. Okay, so now but we got to get real about what has happened in the recent history with the pandemic. You might have started to subscribe for pay-per-view. You might have started to order takeout a lot. So, you were sick of cooking. We get it. We understand. But now is the time, if you are going to think about really buckling down, now's the time to start getting rid of these random and recurring charges that you kind of racked up during
during
the
the
horrible
COVID.
time we were having.
Now it's time now to buckle up, Buttercup, because you need to cut back when and where you can, and stop and think about what you are spending. Good idea is to keep track of that money before it flows down the drain. Make a list.
Yeah.
Make a list of what you're spending your money on. A lot of people don't even realize what they're spending on.
Yeah, it's called cash flow. So where did my cash flow to? They suggested in this article Mint, and I used Mint for years. Yes, I did. Early, when it came right out, I was one of the first ones to use it. But you have to get it set up right. You have to make sure you get everything in there, and it will flow right there. It's really good if you have a lot of accounts to keep track of, to flow in, so you can actually just pull out one flow. That is a very good one. I don't anymore because I don't have that many accounts. We're two people. We have,
Downside.
we just don't have it. So I don't use Mint, but it's a very good one. And I'm sure there are other ones out there too. But then you get that picture. This is what's flowing out. This is where the holes are. I'm going to Starbucks 3 times a day. Maybe that's not a good idea,
Hemorrhaging money.
Yeah, that's $16 a day that you could be putting in the bank, and it doesn't take much, but you might also be interested in zero-based budgeting systems, apps like YNAB, or you need a budget itself, an actual budget. Do a spreadsheet. We just talked about that earlier today. Do a spreadsheet, calculate everything you're spending your money on, gives you an idea of where you're spending your money at, and where you can cut back, They help you plan for every dollar you earn and where it should go. It requires a commitment from you to keep on top of your financial life. No one's going to do it for you. You have to control it. Sometimes it means living without certain things. Live without it. You don't need it. You got to do the need versus necessity situation.
Must versus lust.
Right.
We all want things, but look at the big picture and what you really want down the road. So, Linda, they mentioned up ways to switch up your savings in the article. It sounded like a cool way without feeling too deprived while saving for a house.
Yeah, well, I mentioned like Starbucks. But when you get that cash flow coming through and you start seeing where you're spending money on things that are necessities, not necessities, and to do that, maybe you'll have Starbucks once a month. You don't have to quit completely, but you can pare down to get to that number.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
So, Sherry, the article also mentioned about bundling up for lower payments, like, insurance, I think it was mentioned.
Yeah, some people believe in the debt consolidation loan piece, to bundle up all their credit cards into one payment. Some vendors, insurance and subscriptions will price their services so you can get a discount if you pay annually versus monthly. That's true with a lot of like cable, not necessarily cell phones, but with cable and some newspaper subscriptions, things like that. And again, that goes back to reading it online. Amazon is a great example for this, but homeowners and auto insurance policies may also offer similar discounts. If you're planning to pay these expenses anyway, paying them all up front once a year may allow you to save a little bit as you go.
Right. And that can add to the kitty. So if you are saving for probably what is the biggest expense and purchase in your life, and the key path to that, the rule is to build wealth. So this is all good. So about rethinking your current housing situation. Let's go there. Rethink your living space that you're in while you're trying to save.
Let's put it this way. Maybe you're in an apartment complex that has all the bells and whistles. It's got, pools and gyms and racquetball courts and tennis courts and all kinds of stuff. Maybe you have to deal with a little bit less of those amenities for maybe a year so that you can save some money. So maybe you might have to downsize your luxury items.
Yeah. And a lot of people, this in this article is really shocking to me.
Yeah.
It says 52% of 18 to 29 are living with their parents now, of course, to save money so they can buy a house. but that is more than the Great Depression.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
you're
hadn't
not,
heard
you're
any of
definitely not alone in needing this help. And that's another way too of finding either with your parents or some really cheap way to live for a couple of years.
Yeah, and again, even though the children are still living at home so that they can, save up for a house or something like that, a lot of families are doing that more and more since COVID, because of the fact of being together. And economically, it does make a lot of sense. It may not offer a lot of freedoms, but it does make a lot of sense. But let's flip the script. Instead of thinking about how to save more and how to spend less, let's think about how we can make more. Get an influx of cash. Many people forget that there's a possibility to do a side hustle. Let's say you got a part-time job. Maybe you're a crafter and you want to sell your crafts on Etsy. Maybe you have a huge amount of clothing that you don't wear anymore because you've changed careers. I included. This is an opportune time for you to sell those items, whether it be on OfferUp or what have you. So if you have things that you can, sell or what have you, that may be a good idea to maybe downsize, clean out your closets, and make some extra cash.
Or even a donation is deductible
Yeah.
from taxes. That's saving money too.
Yeah, that's very true.
Well, with all these moves that we've suggested, you can get yourself, it's by inches, it's by baby steps, most likely. But you can get to that goal. But the first thing, you got to set the goal and make it important to you. All right? So you'll get there that much quicker if you have some resolve, persistence, and consistent. So ladies?
You definitely have to have the goal. Remember that. Have the goal and write it down. A goal is only good if you see it every day,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And I guess that does that for us, for the porch. Remember, like I always say, make sure you go to YouTube and please subscribe and like us on Facebook. Right?
Right.
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 See you
Okay.
next week.
Signing off. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.